Hello Visilinguists and welcome back to my channel. Today I have a special guest helping me out with a very interesting topic. Now, we all know him, we all love him, Gabriel Poliglota.
Boom, we're rolling.
Então, so guys, in this video we are taking some of the most mispronounced foreign words. Some are incorporated into the English language and some are just ones that you might have heard of, and especially if you're learning either French or German or Spanish or whatever, as you might know that a lot of these brand names in particular are actually pronounced completely differently in other languages. So that's what we're going to look at. So it's a mixture of words that, like, some are just foreign words, some are kind of ones that exist in different languages. I'm going to start off the video with a story, and Gabriel, I'm going to tell you this story because it's the funniest thing ever. And Austin, if you're watching this, I love you to bits, but I have to tell this story. So Gabriel, the other day, do you know when I posted on Instagram, and guys, if you're not yet following me on Instagram and Gabriel on Instagram, our Instagrams are right here. The other day, you know how I posted the video about coisas que amo mais sobre o Brasil?
Yes.
Yes. So, in that video, I said, tô com saudade.
Saudade, yes.
Sim, I said, like, tô com saudade, gente. And one of my American friends was like, he saw the video, he responded to the video, and he goes, Lina, I actually know a word in Portuguese. And I was like, that's so cool, like, tell me. He's like, I think it's a Brazilian word. And I was like, tell me. Gabriel, he literally wrote in letters, saudade. And then he sent me a voice. I'm like, but that's what I said, Austin. He's like, no, it's saudade. And I was like, I said, Austin, it's saudade. Which brings us actually, well, this is the first word I wanted to go through. Saudade. People know, Gabriel, what does it mean? And how do you pronounce it properly as a Brazilian?
Okay, so basically, it has no direct translation into English, but it means that if you have saudade, it means that you miss somebody. Normally very dearly, you know? And you say saudade. For instance, you can say, Eu tenho saudade de você. It means that I miss you.
Mm-hmm. But it's like, I always feel like I've learned this meaning from other Brazilians. It's a mixture of not just missing as we know it, but like a longing, a nostalgic, like sentimental feeling of missing something.
Yeah, it can be a lot stronger. It can be like, eu tenho muita saudade do Brasil. Eu tenho muita saudade da comida brasileira. So something that you can... it can be something somewhat shallow, like, you know, I miss you, like, I miss you, like, you know. Or it can be just like, I really miss you, like, but then you can also emphasize it by saying, eu tenho muita saudade de você. I have a lot of saudade.
Yeah. So, let's go to the next one. Gabriel, this word, how would you pronounce it in Portuguese and in Canada?
So, in Portuguese, again, like I've heard it more often here in Canada. So it'd be Quinoa, or I don't think anyone says Quinoa. I think it's just straight up Quinoa. And
interesting.
You know, like, if I'm not entirely sure how people would pronounce it in Brazil, I think that it'd be Quinoa, because that's how you would read it out. You know, because the Q-U-I would be ki. No, quinoa. Yeah,
that's interesting. You're halfway there. So that the proper pronunciation of this is quinoa.
Quinoa.
So it's like a wa. It's not a owa. It's quinoa.
In what language?
In Spanish.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
You say quinoa.
Quinoa.
But in Australia, you would say quinoa. Like quinoa. No one says quinoa, but you say quinoa. Like.
Quinoa.
But I think people picked up, that it's actually quinoa. A próxima palavra. The next word, we say, it's a German word. Have you ever heard this being mispronounced?
Like,
how do people say it?
I've heard Schadenfreude, like, but it's like normally, like, I see it and then I read it, like, in my mind in German, Schadenfreude.
Yeah.
But I've heard it, different variations of it, like, or Schadenfreude, you know, Schadenfreude.
We're gonna mix up some languages. É uma coisa muito interessante porque quando você sabe como pronunciar algo como assim, na forma perfeita, na forma legal, na forma correta, é um pouco estranho quando você tem que falar essa palavra em uma outra idioma, sabe? Like so that people understand you, which is what we have with a couple of the words coming down the track. But yeah, so in German, yeah, as you just said, Schadenfreude. But I think in Australia, oh my god, I don't even know. I think in Australian would say like Schadenfreude or something. I don't even know. I'm not Australian. Where's the passport going up there? We threw it out already.
I can actually give you one quick example of a word that I say it in French here in Canada. Sometimes people are like a little bit thrown off because I live in British Columbia. So that word is croissant. Like, you know, like normally
yes,
I don't, you know, so like sometimes like I'm at a bakery and I'm like, oh, can I have the croissant? And they're like, oh, you mean the croissant? Or like they say it with
croissant.
But I can't bring myself to say you know, it's croissant. Like,
yeah.
And it's just, of course, like I'm not pronouncing it 100% perfectly, but it just sounds more natural to me to say croix as opposed to croix.
Yeah.
You know.
And that's the thing, actually. In Australia, there's like this stigma. And I used to work at a cafe, which is, you know, where you would come across this. People who actually pronounce it properly in Australia and say croissant are considered to be like up themselves a little bit. Like, oh, who are you? Like trying to pronounce this, you know, like a French person. It's like...
Yeah. Often in Brazil, it's the same. Like if you go, like, let's say like a Brazilian pronounces something like a brand properly, people will be like, oh, this guy, he thinks he knows English, you know? He thinks he's fancy. And then like they go out of their way to mispronounce it the Brazilian way to not sound arrogant, which I find kind of silly, but you know.
Yeah. That's actually, that's a very, very good point. So the next word, Gabriel, if you just saw this word, how would you pronounce it?
Well, like, it's Hermès, right?
No,
basically,
Hermès.
Hermès. No, but the accent isn't it?
Doch, sorry, the accent is the I don't have the accent written down, but the accent is Hermès.
Isn't it Hermès? With the accent the other way?
It's the grave one.
It's but for example, like if I just looked at this word, not knowing it's French and pronouncing it in English, I would say Hermès.
Yeah, exactly. Like a Hermes bag, like that's what people say.
Yeah, or in Brazil it would be Hermès. Eu acho, like I think.
eu acho que no Brasil. Então, Gabriel, a gente escreve, eu não escrevi o acento. É assim. I haven't pronounced it that often in French, even though like I would say Hermès, but yeah, Hermès. But yeah, it's definitely not Hermes.
Hermès.
Yeah, but
here, like mail from France.
So we learned something new. Hermès. But it's definitely not a H, guys. It's definitely not a H. So, coming on to the next one, Gabriel. How do we pronounce this word? And don't cheat because I told you how to pronounce it before. How would like a normal Canadian or someone or a Brazilian look at this word and pronounce it?
So I think that a Canadian would look at it and say, like, like from this part, right? So from British Columbia or anywhere else, it would be Balmain. Balmain.
But yeah, that's like in Australian.
Because that's the word Maine.
Yeah.
But knowing that it's French, it'd be Balmain.
Yeah, so you say Balmain.
Balmain. But something I find funny is that, like, of course, being not French and speaking French, even like at a decent level, it's still very hard to pronounce like the like sounds perfectly properly, and they give us away to the French. They're like, this guy's not French.
Exactly, exactly. You get that because they have these sounds that I think they have like 36 different like sounds in the sense of vowels.
Vowel combinations, right?
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, so Balmain, Balmain. There you go. But what I find actually really interesting, like speaking of pronunciation, is so in German, you actually have like Germans pronounce the French words like the French would, because there are a lot of words in German that are actually taken from the French, like porte-monnaie, ingénieur, journaliste, and like, yeah, they never, I think it's very rare that you would have a French word in German pronounced in some German way.
Yeah,
So-
well, and it's close enough though.
Well,
So it's just right there. So I guess
it's
that's
not like
why.
Australia, which is on the other side of the world, and, you know. Anyway, this next one, I am very interested to hear this one. Because I've learned how to pronounce this word, like I've heard it in Germany so many times. It's a fashion brand, by the way, for those of you who don't know. And I've heard it the Australian way.
Okay.
So I want to know your way.
Okay, I've never seen this before. I would guess that in Canada people would say it Asos or Asos. You know, like Asos would be maybe the way that a Canadian would look at it and read it, like Asos. I guess it could be Asos, Asos. I don't know.
Asos? Yeah.
Asos.
Yeah. I'm going to start with the German one, because I'm in Germany.
Okay.
So in Germany you would say Asos,
Asos. Okay.
which is weird. It's weird as hell. Because I learned this like the Australian way. So for me, the Australian one is the original pronunciation. So in America you say ASOS. In Australia we say ASOS.
Asos. Okay.
ASOS. It's not an O, it's an OS. Like ASOS.
Okay.
ASOS. ASOS.
This reminds me of, for example, like Los Angeles.
Ah.
So most Americans seem to say not Los Angeles,
Yeah.
but Los
Los
Angeles.
Angeles.
Los Angeles, right? So
Los
like
Angeles.
Asos.
I've heard of Los Angeles.
Yeah, or
Los
yeah.
Angeles.
But normally the LOS, most Americans that I hear at least say Los, like as opposed to Los.
Yeah.
You know, like so the O will vary, but like most
Yeah.
people will say, and then like some people say Angeles or Angeles.
Yeah, exactly. Los
Um,
Angeles.
but normally it's
I went to
Los
Los
Angeles,
Angeles.
so.
It's so weird because I've like I hear it all the time just as LA.
LA, exactly.
Like-
So like most people won't say like, oh, I'm going to Los Angeles. It's like I'm going to LA.
I'm in LA. I'm from LA. Darling, take me to Los Angeles. A próxima palavra. I think this is one even English-speaking nations fight over. Americans and Australians fight over this word. How do you pronounce this word?
So in
yeah.
the States and Canada, I hear Nike.
Okay, we can be friends. We can remain friends. Actually, no, I think it was the German, because I talked about this with a friend of mine once, and he said it's Nike in German.
Nike, okay.
I said, no, it's not, it's Nike.
Some people say Nike, but I like here. Like I think that the vast majority of people in Canada and American friends, like they also say Nike.
Yeah,
The
I've
Nike
only ever
symbol.
heard it as Nike, really, so I don't know what's going
the
on.
swoosh.
So, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Gabriel, muito obrigada. Sempre prazer com você, como você sabe.
Sempre um prazer.
Sim, gente, click na minha cara to subscribe to my channel to never miss out on anything from the Busy Linguist. And let me know which one was your favorite word, which one did you find the funniest to pronounce, and if there is a super weird word that people mispronounce in your language. Gabriel, valeu!
Valeu!
Valeu! See you next time, guys.